Margie Walker has lived in Fort Worth, Texas her whole life. When she was 1.5 years old, World War II just broke out. When her father went to service, she and her brother were brought to her grandparents' home to be taken care of.
I was raised by my grandparents because my mother was wild. Now, we were poor. We didn't have a lot, but they were there. They were always there. They weren't gone with a friend or staying overnight with a friend, but they were there. And we knew that we were loved.
Margie would later meet the love of her life, Howard Walker, and be married for over 50 years. They had a girl and 2 sons, but both boys died prematurely due to a rare genetic disorder. The dream of having a son eluded them, and the relationship with their daughter became strained. In 2009, Howard passed away, leaving Margie feeling devastated and lost for the next few years.
Since my husband passed away, I went into a real bad deep depression, and I just lost interest in everything around me, life in general. I mean, I was here by myself. I felt like I had lost all my friends. I hadn't, but you think that way when you're depressed. I was coming home from someplace, and I stopped by the mailbox and got the mail, and there was a brown envelope in there. Inside it said, Miss Walker, the CPS has your great-grandson, Draven, and he needs a home. And so I thought to myself, yes, I'll give him a home. Yes, I want him. Yes, where can I get him? When can I get him? And so I came home immediately. I filled out those papers, and I sent them directly back that day. Yes, I want it.
Welcome to Counting on Us, a podcast presented by ACH Child and Family Services, the show where we share the stories of people navigating life's challenges with ACH alongside them every step of the way. I'm Daniel Treviño. At 81 years old, Margie Walker chose to become the primary caregiver for her 15-year-old great-grandson, Draven. The likelihood of having a more senior member of the family take up that role of caregiver has become increasingly more common. The transition of moving a child from their biological parents to their extended family or kinship family can at times be traumatic. Should caregivers not receive proper support, the risk of a failed placement runs high.
Kinship families are different because traditional foster families are prepared for this. They think about doing this. They know kind of what they're getting into. So they get to go through all the trainings. They go through all the observation hours, and they get to kind of see what it's like firsthand. Where our kinship and fictive kinship families are just placed with the child, and then it's kind of like, okay, now go, run with it. So we prepare them with the children in the home, which brings on more challenges, with childcare and trying to get to classes and things like that.
That's Mandy Martin. She's part of the Kinship Connections team at ACH Child and Family Services. Every week, Mandy works with families who have recently become new caregivers to children and connects them with extra resources and support. Ms. Walker and Draven are one of those families.
I started working with Ms. Walker and Draven back in January of 2020. We received a referral, and I just made that initial contact, went out, kind of talked to her. And you could tell she was definitely checking me out, seeing who I was, why I was there.
And I was a little bit apprehensive. I was afraid that we'd never see the kids anymore. I was afraid, there goes my boy that I wanted so bad. Mm-hmm. And now I'm not going to have him.
Mm-hmm. Did you feel like receiving help from Kinship Connections would work against you?
Exactly. I I can do this. I'm going to do this. Some way I'm going to do this. And then Mandy came along and she says, you don't have to do this by yourself. We are here to help you.
Mandy, can you tell us how you put it? How are you explaining it to Miss Walker?
I just had to let her know because she was fearful. Because, in situations like this where the caregivers are taking in these children, they think everybody's eyes are on them, and any little wrong thing that they do, they're just going to go report it to a CPS worker and the child's going to be removed. And so I just had to just keep being myself and let her know that I was here for her, and anything we needed to do to keep this long-term placement that we were going to do. She started realizing that, and then she started calling me more often and was willing to talk to me and be more open to get through the licensing process.
Should kinship families decide they would like to pursue legal adoption, they must begin the complex licensing process. For anyone, this would be a daunting task, but for Margie Walker, it was particularly challenging since she had to learn new technology.
Number one was we needed an email. So since Miss Walker did not have an email, I helped her set one up and then explain the importance of the email and through the process of why we would need it.
Miss Walker, you're laughing. Why is this funny?
I still have an email.
She has an email, but she doesn't know how to use it still.
Tablet.
So
I don't know how to use it. I can hardly use my telephone.
So that is one of the other ones was having a phone that I could communicate with her, and then just programming my name to make it easier for her to find me and call me when she needed me or had questions. We tried to walk her through text messages. That didn't work.
It's better on the phone.
And Mandy, how have you seen Miss Walker learn and adapt?
Well, when we did a TBRI on a Saturday, I couldn't be here to show her how to get on Zoom on her tablet. So just seeing her on the other side of Zoom for that training said a lot. I had written down directions for her, and she followed them, and she was on for the whole 6.5 hour training. So anything that she needs to learn, she learns it, and she tries to apply it the best she can. So it's been a lot of growth from Miss Walker throughout the process.
Oh, I couldn't have done it without her. I just couldn't have. I mean, we were together like 3 times a week sometimes, and sometimes more than that, and on the phone almost every day. I wouldn't have got to first base without her.
In addition to helping Miss Walker register and set up for taking online classes, Kinship Connections at ACH assisted her with other community resources.
We helped set her up get her social security card, extra food, cleaning products, hygiene products for the 2 of them, making sure the house was safe, smoke detectors, and then helping with the outside. There was a lot of unsafe and hazardous things all over the yard. She had a huge 2-story shed that was just crammed with things of hers.
It was a red storage building out here. It was a huge thing.
2-story? Mm-hmm.
2-story, and it was it covered all that whole driveway out there, and then some. I bet you that thing had been out there 50 years.
And how urgent was it that she get her home and yard cleaned up?
It was pretty urgent if she wanted to get licensed. I mean, the homes need to meet minimum standards and ACH policies.
She said, we got to get rid of this building. And I thought, oh, no, we're not.
Only because it was a safety hazard and it was falling apart.
I understand now. But whenever she said that, I thought to myself, woman, you got to be crazy. Yeah, because for one thing, I don't have the strength that I used to as a younger person, and I just couldn't do it all. Although I did quite a bit of work to get that accomplished, I still couldn't do a lot of that stuff that they wanted done. And I didn't have the financial means to do it with.
Mandy, with the crucial need to remove the shed and clean up the property, How did Ms. Walker and Draven do that all by themselves?
Well, they didn't. I had to do some research and find a company who was willing to come out and help and work with us.
We'll be right back.
Hi, it's Dr. Wayne Carson from ACH Child and Family Services. I hope you're enjoying the podcast. Here at ACH, we know that the community is counting on us to get it right. So for over 100 years, ACH has remained true to our mission of protecting children and preserving families. Follow us on social media or visit our website, achservices.org, to learn more about what we do, how to get involved, or if you'd like to support us. Now, back to the show.
Once it became clear that Ms. Walker didn't have either the strength or financial means to remove the two-story shed and other items from her property, Mandy began to investigate.
I think I was trying to Google junk removal or large amounts, just looking at places, who was in the area, who had time, who would talk to me. Because I originally talked to the city, if they did something like that, and that was a hard no. It was really expensive as well. And then I'm not sure how I stumbled across him, but, I read reviews and things, and that's how I got connected.
My name is George Berry, and I'm the owner of Junk King Fort Worth. I got I can't remember if it was a phone call or an email from Mandy. I try to normally try to do one free job per month. I went out to Miss Walker's place and saw that she could really use some help. She seemed like a very nice lady that was trying to make the best out of a bad situation. And if we could help just a little bit, so I believe it was her grandson, didn't have to be in the regular foster care system and he could be with family, then, that just seemed like a win for everybody.
Initially, at first inspection, Mr. Berry thought he and his crew would be able to remove everything in one day, but soon they encountered a roadblock.
That first trip was just really picking up the yard and going out, and then it was a whole different story when she opened the shed and saw the memories, and then that took some time to go through and
that's
process.
when I really had the problem. Yeah. The thing that I had the hardest time dealing with was mine and my husband's bed. I tried to explain this to Draven the other day because he brought it up, and I didn't know how to answer him.
What do you think that bed represented to you?
It meant a lifelong friendship, loyalty, love, appreciation. It meant all the things that are good and happy in life.
How were you able to convince yourself that getting rid of the bed and everything in the shed was the right thing to do?
Well, I said, Howard's gone, and the past is over, and I have to look forward. And it was hard. One thing I did, I got in my car and I drove out to the cemetery, went to his gravesite, and I gave his tombstone a big old hug. And I said, I hope you can feel this. But I said, Howard, I've got to move on with my life. I can't do this anymore. I can't keep you in my life day after day with knowing I'll never see you again till we're in heaven. But I said, I'm not going to be coming out here as much. And I'm not going to be able to think about you as much. I've got to turn you loose. And after I had my talk with him, I could already feel the pressure beginning to release and remove and go away. And then I came back home and I said, thank you, Billy, for being there for us when we needed you. And I'm sorry, but we don't need you anymore.
I just felt for her. I mean, that was a lot to ask of someone, to have to go through those important things to her. And that's all I could do was be there for her and just listen and let her tell me how much they meant to her, and empowering her and reminding her that she was in charge. She got to make the calls on what can go, what cannot go, or if she needed to stop the process and take a break, that was fine too.
Over the course of a month and a half, the Junk King would return several more times, until finally the day came when they removed the 2-story shed.
Well, after I got over my tears, we had a good time. The guys were great that were here, and they were very sympathetic to me too, and they were very helpful in helping me to keep my sanity through it.
I think she came over and gave a couple of my guys hugs. I think she maybe even gave me a hug, and then we all took a picture together, and she was, thanking us, and she was very happy, and we were happy to be able to help. It was a good day.
With the shed removed and the cleanup over, Margie Walker's goal of adopting Draven got a whole lot closer. While the journey of adoption isn't over, Kinship Connections at ACH Child and Family Services will continue to work with Ms. Walker in guiding her through the legal process. Until then, Ms. Walker continues to dream about what kind of a man Draven will grow up to be.
I just want him to be a good man, a good father, good husband, a good neighbor, a helpful person, which he is already there. He is so cute. We'll get to the store or someplace, and I'll get out of the car, and he'll run around there, and he'll put his arm out there. I said, what's that for? He said, grab a hold of it so you don't fall. And he helps me up the steps and down the steps and all around. So, and that's so sweet.
What does family mean to you?
Oh, well, I tell you what, I think family, there's no one closer. That I don't care how many arguments and disagreements you have with family, they're still family. And that's what's hurt me so bad about all of this, is because I don't have that closest with my daughter and my granddaughter that I used to have, and I just miss that so bad. And I'm not sure what I can do and what I can't do, because I'm not going to do anything. I don't care what it is. I'm not going to do anything that's going to jeopardize me having Draven. And if that means staying away from my daughter and my granddaughter, then I stay away from them.
So your family right now is you and Draven.
Right.
And how do you nourish that?
With all the love I can muster. I mean, I don't know how else to put it. I just love him. I'm going to do for him as much as I can, and yet I've got to let him go to be his own man. And I know that. And that's going to be so hard. But we're going to do it. We're going to make it. We're going to be together. Hello, my name is Margie Walker, and I'm 81 years old, and I'm fixing to adopt my great-grandson, who is 15. Can you believe it?
Thank you, Margie Walker, for sharing your story. If you feel inspired and would like to support ACH in its mission to protect children and preserve families, you can donate now at achservices.org, or you can find the link in the show notes. Also, if you like this episode, please share it with a friend, follow us, or write a review. It makes a huge difference. Counting on Us is a podcast presented by ACH Child and Family Services, written, edited, and produced by Daniel Treviño. Special thanks to Kinship Connection Specialists Mandy Martin and George Berry from Junk King, Fort Worth. Mixing by Panoramic Sound. Thanks for listening.